Hello and welcome to another video, and in this one, just a short one, we're looking at the C9 UB, Sony of course, and most of the way through restoring this. So he's got the metal gears for the front loading mechanism. It's also got the later vented DC-DC AC module, which is great. And it works, except the tuning, basically the tuner doesn't. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see prog is lit up, but there are no numbers at all. So I've gone through the circuit with the assistance of the circuit diagram, and basically what's happened is it looks like this chip has failed. There's 12 volts in here on this pin. On pin 30 there should be something like 3.2 volts, 3-ish volts, and there isn't. There's actually 12 volts sitting on there. What I'm finding is on this here, this goes to the buttons, and what's supposed to happen is when you press a button, it sends a signal through a form of matrix, keyboard matrix sort of setup sort of thing, and presents something like 3 volts, it's supposed to be, to one of these 4 pins here, I think it is. And what's actually happening is when I'm pressing a button on the corresponding pin, instead of getting 3 volts, I'm getting 12 volts. So it's not happy. Everything else checks fine. And so I did think, am I going to bother sort of fixing this, because nobody realistically uses RF and the tuners anymore. But the rest of the machine is so good. It's really in excellent condition, and I like things to be working, even if they're not going to be used. I like them to be working properly. So I've got loads of these boards, so it would have been simple just to change out the board. But what I've decided to do is actually take a chip off one of the worst boards I have. It is actually a bad board, but more to do with the actual tuner can itself, and I've nicked some bits off it as well. So I've taken the chip off. I believe the chip works. I tend to document the boards I take off, if they have any faults, and the board I took it off is this. So yeah, it seems to make sense just to swap the chip over and see what happens, I suppose. There's the underside of it. A couple of resistors are tacked on. So I have to just make sure I get those right. But we'll swap that over. So this is the new, in inverted commas, chip removed from the board. A little bit of a smear of flux there, I think, on the top. Mitsubishi chip. And time to get the other one out, I suppose. So that's all done. Chip is swapped, and interesting marks here. These are from the factory. I think they're done with some sort of pencil, but yeah, it's fairly tidy. Managed to put the Sony mods back on and put them into a slightly more convenient place. On the other board, they're actually onto pin 21, is that, I think? Done that way. But on this one, it's one of them was up here and one of them was across there, so I've just put them both up to there. They 4.7K, I think they are. So yeah, both the same, so that's cool. So let's give it a go. So, moment of truth, will it work? Yay! It's looking good. Excellent. So that's working. So I will obviously have to check the actual tuning is working. In fact, nothing's going to touch. Yeah, this wasn't working either, so can't do that. Obviously it's going to search through first, but yeah, that's actually working well. Excellent. So there we go. Another machine up and running. Obviously lots of testing to do and playing about with it before I'm happy to put it back together. After doing all of that, I actually found out that the aerial socket is loose, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually broken the joint as well. But what is nice about these is that you don't have to get like a 100-watt soldering iron and a load of solder to fix the socket. It's actually on a nut, so tighten that nut, resolder that, and you're good to go. To remove it, it's a little bit more involved than it initially looks. You have to lift the trick mode board, which is AM5, I seem to remember, and also the back cover here. Screw here, screw here, screw in the back here, and then pull this back, and it actually locates in here as well, so you have to pull it back, lift it out. You can't do that unless you get this and bend it back far enough to allow that to happen. But yeah, tighten that nut and you're good to go. So that is it. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe as well, that'd be great, fantastic. And comments always welcome as well. And see you in another video.